Think about this. You wake up with countless ideas in your head, full of plans to change your life. But as the day goes by, that initial energy fades. You find yourself scrolling through your Instagram feed, watching random videos, postponing that important task for later. And the worst part, that later never comes. Has this ever happened to you? Procrastination isn't just laziness. It's your brain sabotaging you. It craves comfort, trying to avoid anything that feels difficult or uncomfortable. The problem is that this pursuit of comfort comes at a cost. The feeling of stagnation, the frustration of knowing you could be making progress, but you're not. The truth is, when we look at big goals, they seem like impossible mountains to climb. Where do I even start? What if I fail? The fear of effort and failure paralyzes us before we even begin. But there's a way to turn this around. Small changes can reshape the way your brain handles challenges. And no, I'm not talking about motivation, because motivation comes and goes. I'm talking about a simple trick that can make you take action, even when you don't feel like it. But before I reveal this secret, there's something you need to understand. Laziness isn't what you think it is. In fact, it doesn't always mean a lack of willpower. It could be something else. And I'm about to show you what. Imagine this. You're sitting on the couch, phone in hand, scrolling through your feed without even noticing the time passing. Deep down, you know there's something important you need to do. But instead of taking action, your mind says, I'll start in a little while. Except that little while never comes. Does this mean you're lazy? No. The problem isn't a lack of willpower. The problem is the size of the task. When something feels too big, our brain goes into defense mode. It looks for escape routes, easy and pleasurable things like social media, short videos, or even tidying up a drawer instead of starting that important project. That's because, to the brain, anything that requires effort is seen as a threat to be avoided. But here's the good news. Laziness isn't a permanent sentence. What seems like a lack of energy or motivation is actually just a matter of strategy. Small adjustments in how you approach tasks can completely transform your productivity. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about now. There's a simple method, backed by neuroscience, that can get you out of inertia and into action without needing extreme willpower. And the first step is easier than you think. Let me show you. 3 simple steps to overcome laziness and take action. Step 1. Make tasks smaller. Imagine you need to climb a mountain. If you look at the peak, it might seem impossible. But what if you focus only on the first step? Our brain hates massive tasks because they seem overwhelming. But when you break a big goal into small actions, everything changes. Want to write a book? Just write 1 sentence today. Want to start exercising? Do just 5 push-ups. Small daily progress leads to big results over time. The secret is to focus on progress, not perfection. And speaking of progress, there's a way to ensure it happens without relying on willpower. Step 2. Create easy routines. Most people fail because they rely too much on motivation. But here's the truth. Motivation comes and goes. What really works is building habits. Think about this. Do you need to remind yourself to brush your teeth every day? Probably not. It's already automatic. Now imagine if exercising or studying was as effortless as brushing your teeth. To make that happen, you need to make your routines more accessible. Want to start working out? Leave your sneakers next to your bed. Want to drink more water? Keep a bottle nearby at all times. When the right action becomes easy, it happens naturally. But what about those moments when laziness still kicks in? There's a trick to hack your brain and start any task without resistance. Step 3. Use the 2-minute rule. The biggest obstacle isn't doing something difficult. The biggest obstacle is simply getting started. So here's a challenge. Next time you feel like procrastinating, tell yourself you'll do the task for just 2 minutes. Want to read a book? Read just 1 page. Want to tidy up your workspace? Just organize 1 item. What happens? Once you start, it becomes much easier to keep going. Your brain gets into the rhythm, and before you know it, you've made more progress than expected. Small beginnings create big changes. And speaking of changes, have you ever wondered why some people manage to transform their lives while others stay stuck? The answer lies in their mindset. Imagine an athlete on their first day of training. They have no medals, no endurance, no technique, but they do have something that can take them to the top, the willingness to keep going, even when the results haven't appeared yet. The mistake many people make is thinking that success comes from special talent or a big moment of inspiration. But the truth is different. Everyone starts small, The great achievers of today were once beginners. The difference? They didn't give up. Mistakes are part of the process. Think about this. Have you ever seen a child learning to walk? They stumble, fall, get up, and try again. And you know what they never do? Quit. But as we grow older, we start fearing mistakes. We begin to think that failure is a sign we're not good enough. But that's a lie. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise. If you learn from it and keep trying, you're on the right path. Now, if there's one thing that truly makes a difference in the long run, it's something many people underestimate. Small, consistent efforts create big changes. Success isn't about giant leaps. It's about small daily steps. Think about someone who wants to get strong. Training for 10 hours in a single day and never going back to the gym won't work. But if that person trains a little every day, the results will come. The secret isn't extreme intensity for a short period. The secret is consistency. And here's the most important part. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going, even on the hard days, even when results take time, because in the end, those who persist always surpass those who only start when they're motivated. Now you might be wondering, okay, I get that mindset makes all the difference, but how do I move from thinking to acting? The answer lies in the next step, and it could change everything for you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Think about this. You're sitting there planning, waiting for the perfect moment to act. But the perfect moment never comes. Have you ever felt that? The desire to start something, but an excuse always comes up. Lack of time, lack of preparation, lack of confidence. Now let me tell you a secret. Those who wait for the perfect moment never start. Many people believe they need to have everything planned before taking the first step. But think about a baby learning to walk. They don't wait until they have perfect balance or know exactly how to do it. They just try. They fall, get up, try again. And one day, they walk. The problem is that as we grow up, we start doubting ourselves. We overthink, we delay, and time passes. But here's the truth. The only way to get better is to start. If you think you need a big move to change your life, you're mistaken. A small action today can transform your future. Want an example? Imagine you want to learn a new language. If you study for just 10 minutes a day in a year, you'll have learned hundreds of words and phrases. But if you wait for the ideal moment to start, a year from now, you'll still be in the same place. The secret isn't doing a lot at once. It's starting small but never stopping. Now it's your turn. Choose a task you've been putting off and apply the 2-minute rule right now. Comment below which task you're starting today, and in a week, come back and share your progress. Oh, and if you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's take action.